as beautiful as Gabi is, when she's angry, it's not that pretty.
All the more reason to keep your wife in the dark. I'll kill him.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I'll be doing another episode recap for today's Daysofourlives. So let's get into the first scene, right? So we see where Abe is at the office and Bonnie's over there. So remember, Bonnie came over there a couple episodes back trying to audition for Cassandra for this body and soul soap opera, right? So Abe is hesitant because he's like, Bonnie, you really don't have much experience. So she begins to talk about how she paraded as Justin's wife, deceased wife, Adrian. And, she convinced a lot of people that she was Adrian and all of that. So, he's hesitant, but she's still there, right? So we go over to Stefan, right? So Stefan is having a drink talking to his father's portrait. And he's saying like, your daughter Kristen convinced me not to tell Gabi. And maybe this is the best. Maybe it was for the best, right? So, he feels like, okay, his conscience is clear. And, it would have just been disastrous if Gabi really knew what happened. I don't know why they can't keep their mouth shut. I thought EJ was going to pop out at some point and learn the truth and just have ammunition on him. But I'm like, where is EJ? Haven't seen EJ for weeks. So, this would be the perfect get back to Stefan and Gabi for what they did to him with Jude at the press conference, right? But anyways, let's go on to the next scene. So we see Ava and Johnny from Friday's episode, right? So they're just catching up and he's surprised that she's working for the mayor, right? So she's like, I'm qualified and all of that. And he's like, I sure you are very qualified. You and it's just really weird to see you and Gabi working given your history. But she's like, yeah, we've have our fair history, but we're trying to work past that and hopefully one day, we'll be friends. I'm like, Ava, you're really delusional, given that this secret is gonna be out, and how do you think that you and Gabi will ever be friends, given that you slept with the girl's husband? Like, how would that work out? So anyways, Johnny tells her that he's working as a director on Body and Soul, and she's like, they're really lucky to have him, and he's really talented, and she said she knows how he is with filmmaking and all of that. So she just wishes him the best, and he wishes her the best as well, and he goes about his way to the office, right? So that leaves Ava in the square, right? So remember on Friday's cliffhanger, we see Connie blurt out to Gabi that Stefan cheated on her, right? So she's like, we come on to this episode and Gabi's like, how does this make sense? Like, how do you know that my husband cheated on me? So she's like, let me not get into it. It's just probably gossip. It's probably a rumor, all that, So she's like, yeah, I spoke to Stefan, and Stefan told me that it wasn't really much. It was just a fling. They had a couple kisses. That was that, So we moving forward, and Ava and I are moving forward. So Connie's like, oh, okay. So she's like, let's write a memo or something like that. So Gabi can't shake the feeling. So she began to ask her, like, where did you hear this from? So she's like, I shouldn't. So she's like, tell me. So she's like, she overheard it from Ava and Kristen the other day, and Ava is saying like she don't want Gabi to find out that she and Stefan actually slept together, right? So then Gabi's like, she's shocked to hear this news, and she's like, she can't really think straight. So she's like, how can this really be? So is this true? So she's like, I really didn't want to tell you this. So she's like, why you tell me now? So she's like, I really want to be, loyal to you, and I believe in loyalty and all of that BS and all of that. So she decided to tell her, right? But she really didn't want to quote unquote break up she and Stefan because they look good together and all of that. So anyways, Gabi gets furious and she throws the bouquet that Stefan gives her in the trash, and she's mad, enraged, and she rushes out of there to confront Stefan and Ava, right? So Connie's there smiling, and she's like, go ahead, Gabi, I would be there in front row to see what's happening, but go ahead and wreck your life like how you wreck Lee's life, or whatever thing she's trying. So we see Leo, he's at his room and he's working on the script, right? Because remember, Abe and Kate hired him on a trial basis to write a script for Body and Soul. So he's there writing the script and he's liking it so far. It's interesting. So he's excited to show them what, he's working with. And hopefully the ratings go up for the soap opera and all of that. So he gets a knock at the door and he's like, I can't work with all these interruptions, right? So we see Hattie at the door, right? But again, Leo still thinks this is Marlena in a disguise and all that. But anyways, she's at the door. So Hattie has, snacks in the bag and she's like, remember that we had a date where we're going to watch RuPaul's Drag Races. So he's like, give me Drag Race. So she's like, yeah, that. So she comes in and he's like, still surprised at how she's dressed. And, they sit down on the bed and, she sees him writing the script. So he's like, yeah, so Body and Soul. So she's like, I am the face of Body and Soul. I'm the new actress. So he's like, really? So you're quitting your day job? So she's like, yeah, I wanted to go into acting and all that. I'm really surprised you're going into acting considering your life's work is this and that. So they begin to talk about things they have in common. And he's still surprised because he still thinks it's Marlena and he doesn't think that Marlena could have this kind of personality and all that. So anyways, they're still talking and they're beginning to watch a show and have some beers and pork rinds and all that. So he's still surprised that this is the other side to Marlena, but clearly it's not. It's Hattie. So hopefully he finds out that it really is her, right? So I'm not gonna hold you on this scene, so let's go forward, right? So we see Kate at the pub, right? And she and Roman comes over and Roman's like, I know that face. You're not pleased with something. So she's like, yeah, I think this whole soap opera thing is a real train wreck, giving Hattie and Leo and now Bonnie wants to be there. So she just doesn't really have much control over what's going on. She thinks that it's a whole circus production, right? So she's skeptical about Hattie, given that she really doesn't have much acting experience. But then Roman begins to remind her that she did work on a play in Florida. And, she did convince us that she was Marlena at the time. And also, we should be grateful to her because she actually talked to him about giving Kate another chance and all that. So she's like, probably you're right. But she's still not really sure about Bonnie, and she thinks Bonnie's a thrifter and all that. And then Leo and all that. So he's like, just give them a chance. They're actually trying to, look for legitimate work and trying to change their lives. So just give them a shot, right? So she's like, yeah, she get that with Leo and Hattie, but with Bonnie, she just can't see herself signing off on that, right? So that was that with the two of them, right? So we go back to Ava in the square and we see Stefan come over to her, and Stefan is like, I heard that you and Gabi talked, right? And she said, yeah, like I heard you told her that we just kissed twice, so I'm just rolling with that story, right? So, our secret is safe and all of that, right? So Gabi doesn't really need to know, and I was about to tell it all with Kristen, and Kristen just talked me out of it, and she's like, I'm glad Kristen really did that, because that would just not be good for any of us at this point, right? So we see at some point Gabi is in the square, she sneaks around the tree and she's just enraged, and she's like, look at them, probably planning out another sleazy encounter and all that. So she's just ready to confront them, and that's what we think, right? So we see her come over to them, right? So Gabi's like, I heard my name being called. So Ava is like, we were talking about how we just put this in the past and, we're all good and on the same page. So she's like, okay. So Stefan is like, what are you doing here? So she's like, I just came to tell you, thank you for the flowers. They're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. She begins to give him an uncomfortable kiss and Ava had to look away. So then she's like, I see you at home later on and I will see, you at work, right? Before she goes, Stefan is like, you believe me, right? So she's like, she was trying to like guilt them, right? So she's like, you sure it was just the kiss and nothing else? So Stefan swears up and down that it wasn't anything else, and you believe me, right? You believe that I didn't go beyond the kiss, right? So she said, oh yeah. So she she went along her way and back to the office, it seems, right? So Stefan and Ava is like, Stephanie's like, do you think she knows or she's in on it? So Ava's like, no, else she would have come here and slit both of her throats, right? So we just gotta continue keeping her in the dark. So Ava, I don't understand what's happening with Ava these months. Like, they're just dumbing her down, because like you would have picked that up if it was the old Ava back in the day. Like, come on, how stupid and naive can you be? Like, at this point, your whole thoughts, your whole thing, you need to go back to the old Ava. So we see we're back at Bonnie and Abe, right? They're at the office and Johnny comes in, right? Because remember, Johnny is having his directorial debut there, right? So before, Abe was about to send Bonnie out because he's like, he doesn't think she's right for the role of Cassandra. So Johnny is like, you know what, let's give her a chance to read the lines and see what she's got. So she got really excited and she started blabbing and it got to the point where I don't know, Abe got the patience like Job, because listen, she could talk. I thought Leo could talk, but she can blab on and on and on. And Abe was like, let's get to the part. Let's get it over with, right? So she begins to read the lines. She's a little nervous. She doesn't really know where to start. She's not familiar with the characters and all that. She kept flubbing over the lines. So Johnny came in and, gave her some pointers and tried to tap into the emotions when she betrayed Justin and all that. So she's like, it's something she really doesn't want to remember. But anyways, Johnny gets her to do it, and I don't know, it just worked, because she got into the script, she got into the character, and it was flowing. So they enjoyed the performance, and Abe actually gave her the part, right? So she's excited about it. She thanks Johnny for really getting her to it, and Johnny's like, you're a natural already. I was just there to give a little pointer, but you had this thing going, right? So she's excited about it, and Abe went out, right? So we see Abe go over to the pub to see Kate, and Kate was like, did Bonnie give you a hard time? So he's like, nah, she didn't really give me a hard time. I ended up signing her on the role for Cassandra. So Kate is shocked, because, you remember earlier she was telling Roman she didn't want to sign off on Bonnie being a part of it, right? She really is not fond of Bonnie, but, Abe is just handling a lot of the production and choosing who should come into this train wreck, right? So we go back to Bonnie and Johnny, right? So she's excited, she's ecstatic, all of that. So he's like, tone it down a bit. You gotta still read the lines and all of that. And I have a few pointers, a few notes, right? So, he begins to tell her that she needs to have a little bit nuances for the character. Even though she's vulnerable, she also uses that as an advantage to manipulate people. So she begins to get into the acting mode, and Johnny actually believed that it was real, and she's like, nope, I'm acting. So he's like, okay, I got you. So she begins to act as a diva and all of that, playing it out, and he believes it again, and he's like, you got this, so just come in early tomorrow or whatever, and nail your lines, right? Just practice your lines and all that. So that was that with them, right? So we go back to Gabi, and she's at the office again, and Connie was like, did you confront them? How did it go? So she was like, no, I did not, but I am plotting for them. They won't see me coming, like how, I threatened to blow up Julie Williams' heart and all that. So she's like, I really want to know about this story. So she's like, another time. So she's like, I need your help to blow up those two. Like, they're not going to see me coming. So Connie is just excited to help Gabi with this, even though she's really plotting against Gabi. I don't know how Gabi can she not see this, but anyways, this is it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts about today's episode. I don't know. It was really annoying to me, but yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right?